Hi, welcome to SBR Sports Picks. My name is Peter Loshak. His name is Jimmy the Bag. Today is Monday, February 26th. This is Loshak in the Bag Show, 6 o'clock edition. Brand new set. Instant improvement. Jimmy the Bag, how you feel about this one?
So much better. So much better.
We pulled our star weight. We had our people call SBR's top people, and they were like, listen, these guys are stars. These guys are talent. You have to make them happy. And look what happened, Jim.
Jimmy's just getting over pink-eyed. Please, get
Unreal.
this motherfucker a table.
All right. So, but, you know, whether we're comfortable or uncomfortable, the most important thing about this show is the research, which we do as best as we can. The results speak for themselves when it comes to Jimmy the Bag in NBA and NHL. And as far as college basketball concerns, it's been an up and down year, but I do believe that we are going to have a big college basketball season for March Madness, and starting with the college tournaments. Now, Jimmy the Bag, did you get a chance to research the Atlantic Sun tournament?
Some of it, and I've got some plays. I wasn't able to get to all of it, but some of it.
Well, I looked at it, and I'll have some plays, Jim.
Yeah, I'm doubling up on one game.
All right, very nice. Of course, in the morning show, someone weirdly asked if they missed the low hanging fruit in college basketball. Now, there's usually, in my opinion, not much low hanging fruit in college basketball, especially not with a tiny slate of games, but. Funnily enough, today there was one play that I felt I liked enough and was kind of obvious enough to consider low-hanging fruit, and that is the under in the Duke-Virginia Tech game. Again, it's just because Duke has changed up their defensive schemes. They're doing it's been effective. I think they're going to do it again here. They played Virginia Tech once recently. It was a modest scoring game, and I see no reason to expect this game to be much different from that one. So that was my main pick here on the college card. You know, it could lose, but I think it's a solid play, Jim.
Yeah, and the line has moved. The line's gone back up a bit.
Oh, has it really?
It's 155.5 now.
That is really bad, because when there's something like that.
Well, it's a mixed line, but yes, it's moved up to 155.5 a bookmaker.
Wow, yeah, you're right, it has, but I'm still seeing 153.5 at Bet Online actually. So it's all according to. Wow, it really is all over the place.
Yeah.
It's spanning. This is why line shopping is so important. If you want, there's 153.5 at Bet Online, 154 at the Greek, 154.5 at a few other places, 155 at Intertops, 155.5 at Bookmaker, and Pinnacle still has 153.5, although it's juiced to the overs. It's a perfect example of why line shopping is so important, Jimmy the Bag.
Wild.
Couldn't come up with a better example of why line shopping is so important. I'm on the under, Jim. I could lose this one, but who the hell knows?
No, when you really trust a play, you have a very high success rate. So
yeah, we'll see how it all turns out. Okay, so before we get into deep into college basketball, Jim, I have to do one thing before the line moves. All right?
Yeah.
Okay. Oscar Best Picture. Did you look into this one at all, Jim?
I have not
no,
yet.
You have not. You have not. I got to give a pick here, right? Line shopping. This line is all over the place. The best line for 3 billboards outside of Ebbing, Missouri. Right now, I'm going to make this one an official fucking pick. At Heritage, minus 125. 3 billboards outside of Ebbing, Missouri, minus 125. It's currently minus 203 at Pinnacle. I'm taking this one. 3 billboards outside of Ebbing, Missouri. A tale of fucking love and loss and love and loss and more love and more loss. All that shit. Beautiful movie. I think it's going to win, and I'm taking it at minus 125 at Heritage right now. This line is probably going to move. That's an official play for me. I don't know what category it's going to go in. Miscellaneous, right? Yeah. But that's an official play. 3 billboards, minus 125 for Best Picture right now at Heritage, and that is an official pick for sure. I looked at all the other offerings at all the various books. Nothing really stands out at me, but that one I'm definitely taking. 3 billboards outside of Ebbing, Missouri, minus 125. Best Picture Oscars 2018, currently at Heritage Sportsbook.
Yeah, I don't watch any fiction,
yeah, me
so
neither.
I wouldn't know. Actually, I did see Get Out though, which
yeah, I'm sure that is good. I fucking don't ever watch movies ever, but I know betting value when I see it.
Sure,
and that's one play for me. All right, let's get to some quick comments here.
Let's do it.
Jump into college basketball. Let's see if there's anything. Richie Incognito says, nice set, Loshak in the Bag. Thank you very much. Richie Incognito, take a shot with 3 billboards, minus 125 at Heritage. Trust me, pal. Let's see, whatever. Yes, Mitchell Chaga says, Pete capping movies, LOL. Yeah, capping ice dancing is what got us kicked out of the main studio in the first place. And now I'm capping movies. But that's a little bit different because people really do bet the Oscars. It's huge.
They do. I mean? They do. No question. And inverted Dick Donnie's on the scene as well. So now we have 4 Dick Donnies.
The problem with Oscars betting is that most of the categories are massive favorites. You don't want to bet into them, don't want to bet against them. But we have one for Best Picture right now. 3 Billboards minus 125 at Heritage. I like it, Jim. All right.
Nice.
And Spread King Dingaling says it's a good movie, Pete. All right, I haven't.
Mr. Stubby says wrong. Pete, Shape of Water wins Best Pick. Hollywood likes those artsy films.
Oh.
I have not and will not see that film. I will not see Lady Bird just because of the title. Yeah. And I don't know, but I've heard good things about 3 Billboards.
I'm sure I haven't watched the movie, and like the only times I ever watch a movie is when I'm with like a woman, and she always forces me to see a movie, and it's always way worse even than I was expecting. Like the Transformers, all this crap, horrible crap.
Gabriel Rodriguez says, "Yo, bag, just know today is gut day. So what you feel is what it is."
Oh, very nice, very nice. Gabriel Rodriguez, thanks so much. McCoxer says it's a pretty cool mug beat. Yeah, I just picked that one randomly out of there. Steo Giles says UFC picks were nice, man. Took Stevens just to win. Thanks. Nice job, Steo Giles. That was the one pick to win that Andreas Hale and I did have. We also thought OSP was a good bet at minus 150. And if you have a minus 150 favorite that loses, doesn't necessarily mean it was a bad pick, but it certainly is not a good sign. You know, it's not a good thing to see. And the other one was just a shocker. Not only did Perry not get a knockout, but he lost outright by decision. Just goes to show you anything can happen in MMA, but still Andreas Hale and I are up nicely overall on the year. And Stevens was a nice was a nice call there. Right?
I didn't. I was heavily inebriated this weekend, and I have no idea what happened in the fights.
All right, so let's see. Let's move on to college basketball.
Yes.
Let's quickly move on to college basketball. Once again, in the morning show, I did not give Jim did not give any picks. I did give the Duke game under, which is the first move market wide was to the under, and now, as Jimmy said, some places have it headed up, but not the entire market, just half of the market. So not sure what to make of that semi-line movement. And I also took Kansas on the first half -6, and I believe that line has gone up because the full game has definitely gone up. Market coming in with action with money on Kansas. Yeah, now it's up to 6.5 or 7. When we were handicapping it this morning, it was 10.5 or 11 on the full game, and now it's up to 12. So pretty clearly, the market expecting a blowout win by Kansas. I'm expecting the same thing. I don't know if I want to take him at -12, but I feel like it's I just feel like it's a down spot for Texas and Kansas. Improving Kansas rolls here, and then again, definitely leaning West Virginia over Texas Tech. Also feels like a down spot for Texas Tech. That line has moved up a little bit. It's now up to a 6.5 or 7. So before we get into the Atlantic Sun games, are there any non-Atlantic Sun tournament games, Jim, that you want to give a pick on or give some thoughts on?
There are some non-games I want to give a pick on. First off, I'm giving the first half in West Virginia, Texas Tech. I like West Virginia first half. I think Texas Tech is a great squad and can dig deep. Even with their injuries. Let's break it down. It's Javon Carter, Daxter Miles, final home games of their storied careers. I think they're going to be just ready to rock early. Carter hasn't missed a game in his college career. String that will reach 137 tonight. All-American candidate. Ranks 4th in the nation in steals. Soon will become the first 4-time member of the Big 12 all-defensive team. Miles is 9th on the school and career steals and 15 games started. They've won 2 straight, beat Baylor by 11, and beat Iowa State by 15. Texas Tech is in tough here. They've now lost 3 straight. Coming off a 74-72 home loss to Kansas. We know Keenan Evans is hobbled, but this team has a lot of heart.
Yes.
And they've been playing well with Keenan. Keenan's gone 3 for 19 from the field over the last 3 games.
Yeah.
But I think West Virginia will come out flying, and I'm taking them on the first half.
All right. It is 3.5 most places, but Pinnacle has -3, -126. So you want that one -3, -126, Jim?
That's a lot of
well, the other will be 3.5 -110. Which would you like, Jimmy the Bag?
I'll take -3.5, -110.
Okay, you're probably right that. Okay, first half -3.5, -110, -3.5, -110, and I was feeling the same way, Jim. I was actually thinking about maybe just throwing on with a weak sauce move here, West Virginia just on the money line because not totally sure that I wanted to lay that many points with Texas Tech. As you said, they're a team with heart. I don't feel they're going to get the win, but I feel they're going to scrap to the end. Could easily get a backdoor cover. Could easily be closer than expected. And the money line here for West Virginia, like -300, which is a little bit up there, but still, all you have to do is win the game instead of winning by 8. You know what I'm saying, Jim?
Yeah, I don't like.
big money lines. I know, and you're right. You're right for doing that, Jim. I do it very sparingly.
Yes, and when you've done it, you've succeeded.
Yes.
So people have given flack on some of them, but you've succeeded throughout. So, you know, I get it. Omar thinks I should take the full game. Let's see. Greg Schneider says Texas Tech should be resting players for the tourney to get healthy. Interesting.
All right, I'm going to take it. I'm going to take West Virginia first half -3, -126, and I am going to take West Virginia on the money line. Oh, shit, the pen is running out. No. Jim, do you happen to have a pen there, Jim?
I've got nothing.
Hey, Juan, do you happen to have a pen there anywhere?
A pen.
Thank you very much. Just throw it over here. Yeah. While I'm in the midst of look for a pen. While I'm in the midst of doing my incredibly weak sauce move here, I'm going to take West Virginia on the money line -300. I'll be frustrated if it comes down to the wire and Texas Tech has some fight in them. The only way that this loses, obviously, is if Texas Tech wins outright, which could happen.
Seriously thinks Texas Tech +7 is the play. Native Queen likes West Virginia first half over.
Right. Okay.
It's an interesting spot. It's an interesting spot. I like. Well, you know, I'm excited to get onto another game actually as well. But I think West Virginia first half is the safest play, just because I do, as we've spoken of, know that Texas Tech has a lot of fight in them. But if our man Greg Schneider's right, if they are going to rest players and kind of give this one to Virginia, then it'd be a nice spot to double up, which I'm not going to do.
All right. Oh, thank you so much. Juanma coming through with an IFBC powered by SBR friggin' pen here. Very nice, Juanma. West Virginia. I'm going to take them. First half -3, -126. I'm going to take West Virginia on the money line, -300. It's a weak sauce move. That's okay. Let's get to some other, Palos Way likes West Virginia first half and full game. Jeremy M says Texas Tech over looking nice. I understand that. Let's see. Underdog says, great Texas mug, Shaq, and great call on dogs and curling. Thank you very much, Underdog. Absolutely. Let's see. West Virginia rolls tonight, says Joseph Eng. And Native Queen, there you go. West Virginia first half over. Yeah, I was thinking about it's a very, very modest total for this game. Underdog loves the Oscar pick. Thank you very much, Underdog. And let's Native Queen says, my daughter just walked into the room and asked me what happened to your studio. How adorable is that, Jim? Oh, my God. Native Queen's daughter knows what our studio looks like and wonders what happened.
She's an award winner.
Oh, God. What a lucky girl that is to have Native Queen as a mom. Can you imagine Native Queen was your mom? How much of a head start you would have in life, Jim?
I'd be much more successful.
Yeah, definitely. So would I, for sure. All right. Let's see. What else do we have? Aaron Escobar likes Virginia Tech with a big-time upset today. Let's go. Okay. I'm on the under. I'd be kind of interested to see what Native Queen has to say about the total on that one. Okay. I guess let's move on. What do you think, Jim?
I would like to move on to a game that I've decided not to make a move on because Nostra Tota had a lean on the other side, and whenever he has a lean on the other side, I just don't make a play, and that has worked for me. If I just blindly tailed everything he did, that would work for me as well. It's the Marquette-Georgetown game. I want to take Georgetown. Obviously, more was expected from Marquette when it started conference play. Georgetown was awful the last time these teams met, turned the ball over 25 times. Marquette went 13 for 26 from 3. But here's the reason why I like Georgetown here, and I'm not going to make the move, is that Marquette has a real tough time with quality bigs. And when they played Georgetown last, they went 9 for 31 with two pointers. Matt Held had a very tough time with Jesse Govan. Govan's 270 pounds, Derrickson's 250 pounds. So my thinking here, Justin Searcy's on Georgetown tonight, my thinking here was that, yes, Georgetown guards hold them back. But tonight is Mulmore and Dickerson's final home game of their college career. So, yes, it's a weak spot, but will they step up in this last opportunity to play in front of their home fans? Man,
I don't know. That is a really tough game because Marquette, of course, is coming off of a bad game where they kind of got chewed out. You know what I mean? They're not that bad. They're not as bad as they looked in their last game. They're a young team, so you never know what you're going to get with them, especially at the end of the year. Sometimes young teams at the end of the year coming off a bad loss just completely flop. Sometimes they come back in a major way. That's a tough game, Jim. I was thinking maybe a shot with the under because maybe Marquette will step up defensively a little bit here, but and that line has gotten bet down a little bit from the opener of 160. But what do you like here, Jim? What do you want to give?
Well, Elio Rodriguez says Jimmy Georgetown first half is my lock. You know, King Rail says over in Georgetown is the play. Jake Bell says I'm liking the Hoyas full game and the over. Melee Payless Ways on Norfolk State. I'm on Norfolk State. Excuse me. I'm on them, but we'll talk about that later. I think this is I would take. Oh, and seriously, he's not betting. I would take Georgetown.
Okay.
But going against a Nostra Total lean is not successful, so I'm not going to do it.
This game has second half written all over it as far as I'm concerned, and the full game lines just scare me. I'm totally passing on it, and so you're going to pass on this one, Jim?
Yes.
All right. So you want to move on to Norfolk State. That is not one of the ASUN conference games. What do you like here?
I'm on Norfolk State, full game.
Okay.
Yes, Howard's won 6 of their last 7 at home. Norfolk State is an improving squad. They've won 8 of 9 after winning just 4 of their first 20. That's a good sign for a team. That's a sign that they're coming together. They have good coaching. Obviously, their conference schedule is weaker than their non-conference schedule as well. But Howard has no size. Norfolk State has 2 7-footers they can throw at them. Also, Norfolk State has 7 seniors. Howard has 1. Conference leader Bethune-Cookman has 3 conference losses this year, and 2 were at the hands of Norfolk State. My internet is coming in and out, so I'm unable to connect to the chat right now. So I have no idea. So I'm going to need you to kind of help with that.
My internet is down too.
Okay. Well,
is our stream going?
yes, it is.
The stream's going. Okay. All right. We just can't read the chat, but we will be trying to connect, and we also won't be able to open up any new pages, although I do have the lines all set here. So Jimmy the Bag, you want Norfolk State? We are streaming, right? Wanma?
Yes, we
yes.
are.
Okay, all right. Earth to Wanma. Earth to Wanma.
What is probably not working good is the wireless.
It's the wireless.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Wireless.
All right. So the best line for Norfolk State is -3, -108. It did open at 2.5, so it is headed a little bit in that direction. What do you think, Jim?
I want it.
Okay, -3, -108. Jim's going to take that one. That game's another pass for me. And the James Madison Elon game, that is scary. What the hell is up with Elon? They are getting blown out in a major way. Jimmy the Bag.
They certainly are. They've looked absolutely awful of late. My instinct was just to hammer James Madison, but there were some issues that I kind of... First off, the line movement. Obviously, a lot of money's gone on Elon. They've lost 5 straight by an average margin of 20.2 points. They were down 3 at home versus Northeastern on Saturday night, and with 12 minutes left, and then they were outscored 31-12 the rest of the way. Starting point guard Daniel Swoops has gone 1 for 11 from the field over his last 2 games. In 53 minutes, last 53, he has 4 points. James Madison's won 3 of 5. When these two teams met earlier this month, Madison out-rebounded Elon by 9 in their 85-74 overtime win. Now, James Madison's lone quality big, DeVell Phillips, played just 4 minutes last game. He's not on the injury report. He's supposed to be good to go. So I have no idea. I went on their internet feeds. Their Twitter feeds. I tried to find out why DeVell Phillips, because he's their lone quality big, played just 4 minutes. I couldn't find out. He only played 4 in their 2-point loss at Delaware on Saturday afternoon. He is said to be good to go tonight. I think it makes sense to take Madison, but the market is telling us that it doesn't make sense, and it's not the move, so I'm not making it.
All right, so shall we move on, Jimmy the Bag?
Yeah.
All right, let's just quickly get to some comments now that the chat is back up to see if anyone, a lot of hockey stuff people are talking about. We're going to get to hockey right after we get to the Atlantic Sun Conference Tournament. Yep, Gabriel Rodriguez likes West Virginia and the under. Okay, that's very interesting. Let's see. Jeremy M predicts Georgetown 80, Marquette 77. Okay.
Wow.
Let's see. Other Reggie says underdog day in NBA. We're going to get to that in a bit as well. Jeremy M predicts Georgetown. McGogster says Kansas -9. My play of the day. Great number there. McGogster, I got the first half at -6. And yeah, here we go. All right, there we go back to the other comments that were coming in. All right.
Okay,
so
yeah, I got it back too.
Let's move on to the Atlantic Sun Tournament. Jimmy the Bag. It's an interesting tournament. Of course, Florida Gulf Coast is. We remember when Florida Gulf Coast recently. Remember when they made the Sweet 16 and just an unbelievable team. They look prime for that possibly again this year. Last year they covered. They were 4-0 ATS in all 4 of their postseason games, and they're a very senior and junior laden team, Jim. They're looking pretty dangerous. I know they had a couple of iffy losses at the end of the regular season, which is not great, but I think a little bit excusable. They're playing SC Upstate, and SC Upstate did actually play them well in the first half in one of their games. So you could make an argument to take SC Upstate first half plus the points. My sense is that Florida Gulf Coast remembers that game and might come out strong here. A lot of times it's the underdogs that seem like they have no chance, that out of nowhere play tight in the first half. And then also Stetson going against Lipscomb. Lipscomb is one of the top teams in the conference, but they played Stetson twice this year. They were tight games both times. They're given double digits again. Could see an argument for a play on Stetson or on Stetson first half. I might make that one an official play. Play that I'm liking though, I think more than any of them. I think I am going to take North Florida against New Jersey Tech. Now, North Florida was expected to be better this year than they were, right? The offense was great. The defense was horrible. New Jersey Tech, young team, played better than they were expected to do. And, they're a respectable team. They played once at New Jersey Tech this year. New Jersey Tech blew them out. Okay. But my sense is that if North Florida can just maintain the offense, that the game is more likely than not to be competitive, to go down to the wire. They're getting a bunch of points. They could win outright, but I'm thinking that North Florida plus the points and on the first half and maybe on the team total over are all good bets. What do you think, Jim?
It's risky business. Now, of those games, the one I attacked the most was Stetson Lipscomb. So I will let you know there. But USC Upstate, Florida Gulf Coast is a tough spot. Yeah. I've heard, and I know from the guys I capped with, they were waiting for this line to go back up. They wish they got it at plus 19. Is it still at plus 18?
It is 18, yes, or 17.5. It is headed up a little bit. It was down to 17.5 and lower before. Now it's up to 18.
Yeah, I'm off that game.
I could see a play with Upstate on the first half, but it's just Florida Gulf Coast really is the real deal. Last year they won they covered their opening round game easily, including the first half line. So I'm gonna to anyone who bets Upstate here, I hope you cash. I'm gonna stay off it. The bets that I did make were North Florida first half and full game, and I did take a shot with Stetson on the first half, and I did take a shot with the North Florida team total over, Jim.
Well, I am doubling up on Stetson.
Okay.
First half and full game. Lipscomb has won 9-10. Stetson played them close both times, like you mentioned. First time they lost by 3, 85-82 at Lipscomb. And the last time at Stetson 2 weeks ago, Lipscomb shot 70% in the second half and was only up 5 with 3+ minutes to go. Stetson went just 39.7% from the field compared to Lipscomb's 54%, and they were in the game. Stetson hits threes better than Lipscomb. This is the reason. Okay, first off, the main issue with Stetson is they start two guards. One's 5'8", one's 5'11". So when they play teams that can hit the three, they get beaten pretty easily. Now these guys can't. Lipscomb's terrible at the three. And there's no pressure on Stetson whatsoever. All the pressure's on Lipscomb. The first time they met, it was tied at the half. Second time they met, Lipscomb was just up 3 at the half. I'm going to double up, and I've sent it in. And I'm hoping to get some units.
All right. I bet this one on myself. I'm going to take the first half plus 7 minus 109. Jim's on that one as well. And the full game, the more you talk about it, very tempting. Plus 12.5 minus 109. That might be even better. Plus 12.5 minus 109. I might double up on this one myself by the end of this show. But as of right now, I'm just going to take the first half plus 7. Jim's on the first half and the full game. And as far as North Florida, I will hit that one. I'll hit it. North Florida first half and full game. And I think I'm going to hit the team total over as well. Let me just quickly get my numbers here. North Florida first half plus 3.5 minus 115. That's the current line at Bookmaker and a bunch of other places. And I'll take them on the full game as well, which will be 6.5 minus 110 at the Greek and a whole bunch of other places. So I'm doubling up on North Florida plus 6.5 minus 110 and the first half plus 3.5. I would also be leaning over here, first half over, and North Florida team total over as well, which is just 77, which is where I bet it, Jim. Did you look into that game at all, or not that much?
Not enough.
Not
I
that
didn't have
much.
enough
That's
time.
okay. That's all right. It's just like, North Florida is going to get their points. The question is, how's their defense going to be? And they could easily. It could easily not be good enough to come close to covering. They're a very flawed team, but I feel like in this initial game, I'm hoping that they can just get it together, have a little bit of character, play a little bit of defense, and hang within 5 points. You know what I'm saying, Jim?
I do.
Is that too much to ask? Very easily could be, but I'm taking it and I bet it. All right, Jim. What else do you like from the ASUN tournament, if anything?
Nothing. That's it. Those are I'm only taking Stetson, doubling up on them. I felt like that was the best opportunity for me, and that's the only one.
Another game I was thinking about was Kennesaw State. Kennesaw State is kind of a decent team. They this line opened at Pick'em, and it's now all the way up to a 3. So a huge market move in favor of Jacksonville. I was thinking that Kennesaw State might that the opening line on this one might be a little bit more correct. I don't really want to bet against the line movement, but I definitely have leans to Kennesaw State first half, maybe even full game, maybe even money line. I guess you didn't look into that one either, Jim.
I did look into it a little bit.
Didn't see anything you like?
No, I did. I was definitely leaning Kennesaw State. I just really liked Stetson, and I don't know these teams that well, so I decided just to focus and double up on this game. But yes, my lean would definitely be towards Kennesaw State. They've been playing well of late, and they just played Lipscomb and played them tough, and that's a good practice before. And the last time they played Jacksonville, they destroyed them.
Yeah, except that Jacksonville is they're one of these teams you see all the time. One time I almost won a big NCAA tournament, a March Madness bracket by finding a team. It was Louisville. It was the year that Louisville went deep. A lot of teams that are like banged up in the middle of the year, banged up all year long, and then suddenly they get healthy at the end of the year. Those are teams that can be very, very undervalued in tournament time, and that is exactly what Jacksonville was. They were banged up this year for most of the year, just all sorts of injury problems here and there and there and there, and now they're healthy all of a sudden.
That makes sense because when I went over the stats of the Kennesaw State Jackson, it didn't. It was just like, and that's why I left it alone. I was like, how could they possibly win by 30?
We're fucking breaking this shit down. Jimmy the Bag. All right, so Jimmy the Bag's on Stetson. I agree with that one. I'm on Stetson first half with him, and he's on the full game. I'm on North Florida first half plus 3.5 and full game plus 6.5. Jim's also on Norfolk State -3. He's also on West Virginia first half -3.5. I'm also on West Virginia first half -3, -126, and a weak sauce play on West Virginia money line -300. And of course, in the morning, I gave out Kansas first half -6. I think that's a solid play. And I also gave out first half under and full game under in Virginia Tech Duke. Line is bouncing all around. We'll see who's right, the people who hit the under or the people who hit the over. And now all those 155.5s appear to be not there anymore. Now it's headed back down again. Bookmaker now down to 154.5 -113.
Wow. That was the first note, and I forget who said it, but someone said it's at 155.5. Hammer it right now.
On the under.
On the under. That was one of the first notes on this on our
Now
chat.
it's back down again. So we'll see how it look. In college basketball, as we know, expect the unexpected at all times. Even more than MMA. Expect the unexpected with these kids, but I'm on the under. And that just about wraps it up for college basketball. How do you feel about that, Jim?
Not quite. I have one play
what else?
I'm taking the under in Fresno State at Air Force.
Okay.
Fresno State had their 5-game homestand snapped by Wyoming at home on Saturday night. I think the main reason why that happened was the Bulldogs lost third leading scorer and rebounder Jerron Hopkins to a foot injury during the game. He's been downgraded to doubtful for the night. It's a big loss. He's a great 6'6" swing. He had scored 20 points in 3 of his last 4 games, 20 points exactly in 3 of the last 4. Air Force snapped their 3-game losing streak with a 75-65 win over Utah State. The last time these teams met at Fresno State destroyed them on the boards. 34-22. That will be a little more difficult without Hopkins, but Air Force has one of the worst rebounding teams in the nation. They shoot just 42% from the field, 33% from 3, although I think it will be a little clear. It will be a little closer. I'm not into this.
All right. We are handicapped. You're taking the under, right? You're taking the under, right?
Yeah, sorry. I was just reading Jimmy, I don't sell picks on Block Me. Got to tell you something.
Okay, all right.
Sure.
Okay.
Sorry. I was my peripheral vision was going. I am on the under. Fresno State at Air Force. Full game under.
It is headed down a little bit. Opened at 140.5. Now 139.5 is the best line we can give you. -110 at the Greek and a few other places. 139.5 -110. Jimmy the Bag.
Beautiful.
All right. We are breaking the hell down out of all these college basketball games. When you put a short slate of games in front of us, Jim, we can fucking do a little bit of research, can't we, Jim?
It's a treat.
It is a treat.
I'm afraid of the days that are about to come and destroy us this week.
I love handicapping everything. All right, so shall we move on, Jim?
We shall.
All right, let's move on to NHL. Interesting stuff in NHL. Tonight, Jimmy the Bag likes Tampa Bay as a big home favorite, but does not like Colorado as a big home favorite. Let me pull up the picks here, but Jimmy the Bag did take Tampa Bay over Toronto. Toronto, a very impressive team, right? Even with Austin Matthews out. Let me just quickly ask you, the Austin Matthews injury, how does that affect this team, Jim?
Well, it'll affect the team a great deal, but right now it's a chance to show their depth. They need Austin Matthews if they want to beat either the Bruins or Tampa, whoever they play in the first round. They're going to need Austin Matthews, he's a two-way player. He's one of the best players in the NHL. He can do everything. And so it's going to hurt them. And we saw what happened initially when Matt. So this is the third time this year Matthews got hurt. The first time, the Leafs won every game. And then the second time, they won the first one or two, and then they lost 4 or 5. I think he's extremely important to the team. But the real reason here is I think that the Tampa Bay Lightning have to send a message to the Leafs and have to show them that they are the class of the division. And I think they will send that message tonight.
All right. Well, Jim gave Tampa Bay a plus 182. Let's see if there was any line movement on that one. Tampa Bay. Oh, where is it? God, Jesus. What the fuck is it? Tampa Bay. Hold on one second. Just 1 second. Let me just find it. Plus 182 is what Jim got in the morning. Yep. Sorry, had the wrong wrong sheet up here. I don't know how that happened. All right. Small move. The teeny move in your favor, Jim. Plus about a 5-cent move, although the Greek still has plus 180. Teeny move in Jim's favor on the Tampa Bay puck line. Jim also took the Philly on the puck line, which is very interesting. Philly, of course, despite being banged up, has turned into poor man's Vegas, maybe, right?
A juggernaut.
Yeah, a juggernaut. The difference, though, is that Vegas has mostly been doing it at home. On the road, a little bit more iffy. Philly has been just rolling on the road.
They continue to play great hockey, and it's Giroux leading the way. Man, you don't pour in a rat in a factory says Toronto will win this game, Jimmy.
Okay.
Man, I really like this spot for Tampa. But hockey's got a lot of parity, and these are two very good teams. But the Flyers, I think they're just going to kick a wounded animal. I don't want to use the term, but they're going to beat up on this Canadians team that's completely falling apart at every level. And that's what I think is going to happen here. But it's Giroux. Giroux is being the straw that stirs the drink. He's playing exceptional hockey right now. 16 points in his last 9 games. And Mrazek is playing well in the net. That was a good pickup. And I think the Flyers are in a good spot.
All right, that line is definitely moved in your favor in the morning. Jim gave it at plus 245 on the puck line, and that line has taken about a 10-cent move. Although Pinnacle still has plus 238, but a nice small move there in favor of Jim on that one, which is nice to see. Then also Jim did take Washington on the money line and the over 5.5 in the Washington Columbus game. Kind of interesting because recently Jim told us that he doesn't trust Columbus's offense, and Bobrovsky has been playing better, but Jim likes the over and Washington on the money line. You want to talk about that, Jim?
I do. I don't think Bobrovsky's playing better. He's 9-10 save percentage in February. I think he's a better goalie than that. 4-5-1, 2.42 goals against average in February. I think he's better than that. And then we were wondering if Grubauer would be in net, and he's not going to be in goal tonight. It's going to be Holtby. Holtby's looked awful on the road, awful in February. So I think this is a great spot to get I like the plus numbers on over 5.5. I haven't been very successful in it, but I like them a lot. I think this is a great spot.
All right. Well, both these lines have moved a little bit against you, Jim. The total now is up to plus 111 at Pinnacle, plus 112 at Bet Online. You got it at plus 106, so a small market move against you there. And the money line, not much of a move, but Pinnacle now up to plus 117, so a little bit of money coming in on Pinnacle. At Pinnacle on Columbus and on the under, Jim.
The Caps have to win this game. The Flyers and Pens are knocking on their door. They have to win this game. This is a must-win. I think they step up.
But don't you think that means they play tighter defense and that Bobrovsky has another decent game and Columbus has more trouble scoring and maybe we like the under here?
I think Bobrovsky looks susceptible. I know that the Caps goaltending is susceptible. I wouldn't be surprised to see a 4-3 game here.
Okay, Jimmy the Bag, very nicely done. Let's see what else do we have here. Jim also took Vancouver and Colorado on the over 6 at plus 104. I was thinking that Colorado -1 might be a decent play at about even money. Jim does not like Colorado as a big favorite there, even against Vancouver, who is admittedly a weak team this year, and on a back-to-back off of a win coming from Arizona into Colorado. You still don't like Colorado, but you still like the over, right, Jim?
I do. Like Ulysses Hayes right here, great hockey capper, says, I like Vancouver money line.
Wow.
And that's just because this Avalanche team without Eric Johnson is in a terrible, terrible spot. So you lose your best defenseman and then your depth defenseman. So they're going to win. The games they'll win, they'll win 5-4. What Calgary did to them, we're going to see more often. I'm going to fade the Avalanche a lot, and I probably should do it here, although I just don't trust my knuckleheads, but I probably should do it here. I'm going to take the over every chance I get, and I'm going to fade them as much as I can.
Okay, and interesting, that line has moved. In the morning show, I was debating taking Colorado -1. The money line was -172. Now it's down to the upper -150s. The worst line is -160 at Bookmaker, and you wager in a few other places at -155. So about a 15-cent line move in favor of Vancouver.
Makes sense to me. G Money NHL Top Shelf says, I'm taking Vancouver too, Ulysses.
Very nice handicapping from Jimmy the Bag in the morning show, saying, no, I do not like Colorado, even though on paper it looks like a bad spot for Vancouver. Nice job, Jim.
Thank you. And then there's been some talk on the chat on the next game, which I really like, and it was the play that you brought up that I wasn't even an official pick when I came here this morning. That was the under in the Vegas Kings game. I think that was a shrewd. I'm very happy that you went there, and I'm happy that I listened and went on it too. And people are talking about it. It really is a very nice spot.
Yeah, I took the under on that one. I also took the under 6 in the Philly game. Let's see if those lines have moved at all. The Vegas game, it was 6 about. Oh yeah. There's been a move there. We got it, I think, at -115.
Yeah.
Now about a 10-cent market move. It's now down to a -125 in most places. Pinnacle still has -123. And the Philly-Montreal game is, I'm trying to think. Yeah, I think that hasn't moved at all. I got it at -119, I think, and that is exactly where it was. Okay, so no movement at all in the Philly-Montreal total, and a nice little 10-cent move in the Vegas-LA under.
And what about I'm on, as you know, which took a lot of...
A lot of balls from Jim, and actually Jim did take LA, and there has been an extremely tiny move in Jim's favor. Jim got the best line at BetOnline this morning at -104, and now the best line is still at BetOnline, -107. So a 3-cent move in your favor, Jim.
A small move, but I like it.
Yes,
I like it. And Antoine Seymour says this, revenge game for the Kings. Vegas beat them twice. They lost the last 2 games. Kings roll tonight. I agree with Antoine Seymour hugely on this. We remember before, the Ducks were in this situation, but they lost 3 times, and they beat them 2-0. I think this is a really nice spot for the Kings. Anytime you get a pick 'em with the Kings at home, I think you just have to take it blindly. Even
with Vegas, I mean, anytime you do that, right? But you're talking about Vegas here, and they're pretty much like the Spurs of old or the Golden State Warriors of old of NHL this year, right? They're the elite team that comes back even when down, comes back late in the 3rd period, wins on back-to-backs, wins even when it seems like on paper it's a down spot for them, on the road, all that stuff, right, Jim?
They are a special hockey team. There's no question about it, but I just think this is a great spot to take a home team that needs a win and needs to send a message. I really like it.
All right, I'm going to blindly tail you here, Jimmy.
Bill Butlicker says, you starting to put me on LA, Jimmy. My body is tingling.
I'm blindly tailing Jim here. I'm going to take LA on the money line. I'm going to have to take -107. Jim got it at -104 in the morning. Tailing Vegas. Jim and I have probably tailed Vegas more than anyone else this year in NHL, but we're doing it here, and I'm going to tail Vegas with you, Jim, -107.
Now, Brooksy doesn't like it. Says there's a reason Vegas beat them twice. Brooksy's been doing great. Who else just said, Ulysses Hayes said, I took Vegas tonight, Bags. These are cappers that you don't want to go against. But I got Udon Porn, Ratana Facti with me. I got Antoine Seymour with me. I got Melee Payless Way with me.
You got Justin Searcy with you.
I love it.
All right, but did you mention G Money NHL Top Shelf? You got him going against you. I'm not going to get in Vegas's way tonight. Vegas money line for me.
Yeah, I get it. And those of you who've been banking off Vegas, you richly deserve all that cash.
Yes.
And yes, Pete and I have left a ton of money on the table.
Yeah.
And I have lost a bit because I have faded them a few times and been successful rarely. The Ducks, I mean, I know I've not been successful way more than I have been. But I think this is a great spot. As I say, the Kings are a big, tough hockey team. They're going to be very if they make it to the playoffs, they'll be very difficult to play against because they're big and tough. They've got Jeff Carter back. If Toffoli and Pearson start scoring, this could be a quality hockey team because we've seen their important veterans step up in a shocking way. I did not expect Kopitar to be a point-a-game player. I did not expect Dustin Brown to come out of nowhere to put up, 25, 20 goals, whatever he's got. He hasn't had 25 goals in the last 3 years combined. You have those 2 veterans playing. All you need is Pearson and Toffoli and Carter to get rolling, and you have a complete hockey team.
Boxer99 says, Quick has not been impressive. Response.
Quick has not been as impressive, but he hasn't been bad in February. .922 save percentage. Yes, he's not being an elite top goaltender, but these experts watched Kemper come in and look amazing and still said, no, Quick is our guy. They're watching them in practice every single day.
Here we go, Jim Rummy. We know that Jim Rummy has an NHL model, so he's not pulling this out of his ass. He's pulling this out of his Excel spreadsheet. Jim Rummy says, here's my projected odds for Kings matchup. Kings plus 106, Vegas minus 106, bookie juice not included, and projected goals 6.28. So Jim Rummy's model sees small value with the over and with Vegas.
Interesting. I mean, I think this is a great spot to take the 6. When the Kings and the Ducks bring up their intensity, that never means more goals. It always means less goals. So I'm very comfortable with the under. I like the under 6. I like it quite a bit. And then
Ulysses Hayes says, Quick isn't the same. Your response, Jim.
Absolutely, you're absolutely right. These goaltenders that get lower body injuries that take them out for complete seasons or 3/4 of the season, when they're over 32 years old, they don't bounce back the same way.
All right, and let's end up NHL with Hui Nguyen asking Jimmy the Bag, what is your best bet in NHL?
When I'm looking at this, I would say the best play would be to take both the Flyers on the puck line and the Lightning on the puck line.
And you expect to cash one. And one final comment here. Jim, from G Money NHL Top Shelf, the Kings are big and slower than a very quick Vegas team. LA will not be able to skate with Vegas. Your response, Jim?
That is an excellent point. And I don't think Tobias Ryder is a difference maker, even though he does have speed. The answer will be it's the Pearson and Toffoli line that has to play at as much as possible. You have to keep that line out on the ice a lot. Now, I know that's questionable after Jeff Carter hasn't played 55 games, but we know that Jeff Carter can win faceoffs. This is a veteran group that has to push the Knights around.
And how about the fact that this is the first game of a back-to-back or a home-and-home back-to-back, so they're playing tomorrow night. Antoine Seymour says Vegas won't get up for the game tonight, but they will smash the Kings tomorrow at home. Jim, your opinion?
I think that's an interesting idea that both teams will take care of their home rink. But I'm just focusing on tonight's game, and this is a giant statement game for the Kings. They need this win desperately, and I think they will go get it. Also, my man Al Mack asking about the over in the Leafs game. If I was forced to make a call, I would take the over there, but I'm much more comfortable with the Lightning on the puck line.
All right. I'll admit I'm starting to feel a little bit nervous that I took the Kings here, tailing you, Jim. But you know, I'm gonna go with it. I already gave it in there, so it's already officially a pick for me. I'm taking it. I like the under a lot more, but I'm taking it. And shall we move on, Jim? Is that it? Anything else you want to talk about in NHL?
No, but there's no question that this, with all the talk today, has become the most exciting game of the night for me. I was the most excited about the Leafs Lightning game, but now I really want this Kings bet to go through. One
final comment here from G Money NHL Top Shelf. Great reply, Jimmy. Jimmy knows his shit for sure. Jimmy, your response?
That means the world. G Money NHL Top Shelf. You guys are beasts, and we have our man Juan Ma waving us down.
And don't forget, Old Miss commented here. Last time Jimmy went against Vegas, he won, and everybody else lost.
Wait, what? When was this?
The last time I went against Vegas, I won and everybody else lost.
When was that?
That was the Ducks. The Ducks 2-0 victory over Vegas about 2 weeks ago.
That's right. And I had the under on that one, too. And the under cashed as well, easily. I had the under on that one. That's right.
Now, obviously, I've got a bit of a recency bias with this play because I think the Kings are quite like the Ducks, and they're a big, kind of a slower team. Now, I see that happening again. I like the under, and I like the Kings.
This is turning into the NHL version of Friday's Princeton-Harvard game. It feels like there's a couple games every card on this one. I love games like these. We'll see how it turns out. We'll see who turns out to be right. And let's just wrap it up with a final comment from no one else. Who else? Big Dick Donnie. Sorry, guys. Nights all day. Big Dick Donnie on Vegas tonight.
Oh, man. No wonder what Small Dick has to say about that, Donnie.
Exactly.
That you small dicks with me.
Yes, and you know I would tail the average Dick Donnie more than either of the big or small Dick Donnies. So let's get to NBA. Jimmy the Bag, NBA. A lot of interesting games today. As of right now, I only gave one pick, which I went on with you, and that is Phoenix plus 7.5. Kind of an obvious play against New Orleans. Other plays that Jim gave were Houston minus 2.5. That was another play that a lot of people in chat in the morning said that they liked. Memphis. Go ahead. Juan, you were going to say something? No?
I was laughing my ass because this Rich Banks is saying that Juanma is going to explain the pink eye causes.
Oh, yes, we will.
Yes, please put something together for the end of the show one.
Jim likes Memphis first half +7 and the under 204. Those are the only picks that Jim gave in the morning show. In my leans column, I gave only one pick. As we know, my overall official picks are down about 9 units on the year. My overall leans are 30 units up on the year. I have Sacramento +5.5 in my leans column. I have the under in the Phoenix New Orleans game, under 236 in my leans column. I have LA Atlanta under 221.5 in my leans column, and I also have the New Orleans team total under 121.5 in my leans column, and I have the Golden State New York first half and full game unders in my leans column as well, and New York first half +7. What do you think about this?
Well, the most interesting line movement I want to talk about, you have me down with the Rockets too. You mentioned that.
Yes,
yep. The most interesting line movement was that over going all the way up to 236.
Yeah,
what happened with it?
Let's check. That was definitely eye-popping. Definitely a super high total. New Orleans playing on a back-to-back, and all of a sudden gets bet up 5 points. That was an eye-pop, and it's still there. It hasn't gotten bet any higher. I mean, it's 236. If you want the under, you can get 236.5 at Heritage and Bookmate.
236.5.
I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know, dude.
Does that not sound ridiculous to you guys?
Sounds a little bit ridiculous to me, but obviously doesn't sound ridiculous to the people who bet the hell out of that over. It takes a good amount of money to move an NBA total 5 points.
Like Nathan Davis is comfortable with it at 234. I mean, this is just wildly interesting. 236.5.
I'm gonna put on these supersonic glasses and try to see through these NBA lines here.
Please
I'm gonna try to see what I can see. I don't know. It looked like big obvious value to whoever it was that was betting the over. I mean, obviously multiple people bet it. Probably a syndicate hit it a couple of times. I don't know what would cause that line movement. Hard to imagine that a big line move like that was caused by big dumb money. You know what I mean? Probably some smart money was in there, one way or another.
Small Dick Donnie is with me on the Kings, but it's a pass. But it's a pass for him.
Very nice.
Yes, I mean, I just 236.5. I mean, look, Scotty says, "What is this, an All-Star game line?" Mm-hmm. I mean, Hako Schofield says, "Take the under." I mean, we've got Rich Banks with us, a great basketball guy of mine. Mm-hmm. Rich, what do you think about this 236.5 under? I mean, it's just enormously high.
Yeah. All right. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to I'm going to take the New Orleans team total under. I mean, you know, if the game, you know, goes over, but maybe, you know, Phoenix wins outright, then the New Orleans team total under will still go under. New Orleans team total under is 120. I mean, I guess they're assuming that Phoenix is just going to play no defense at all. And maybe they will. I mean, they're not a defensive juggernaut, to put it mildly, but that's still just such a high total, right? I mean, you want it, right? I mean,
so what were you getting with the Pelicans?
120. It was in the morning. It was 122. Now I think it's down to a 121.5. 121.5 minus 107. Let me check if Heritage might have 122.
Wow.
But,
wow. Okay, well, let's keep talking about this. But Jose Ing is coming here saying Rockets minus 2.5. Play of the year for me.
Okay. All right. How does he know what plays are going to come up even tomorrow or Wednesday? Maybe he doesn't know what plays are going to come up on Wednesday.
Small Dick Donnie, rational as always, says it's tough to bet under in the Suns game. And Pelicans seem to have an OT every 2 games. And Rich Banks comes in and says, yeah, it's hella high. They got to keep that pace up every second. Justin Searcy said that line is crazy, but I understand why it's there. Hako Schofield says, I'm betting my house and car and guitars on the Rockets tonight. Scotty says, why would you take Suns +7? Please explain, Loshak. You know what? We got him at +7.5. And I can help explain. I mean, he asked you to explain. Do you want to give
No, you go ahead. I mean,
this is a spot where we're taking advantage of a tired basketball team. That game against the Bucks was enormously important. It went to overtime. They beat a very talented squad. And the Suns are healthier. I know they don't have Chandler playing. I don't think he's that big of a deal with the way Alex Len is playing now. Suns running the floor very well lately. I think that this is a good spot. We've seen the Suns change with Alfred Payton playing the point. He's playing for a contract that means the world to him. He's a questionable character to begin with, and he needs to be trying. I think this is just a spot where we're taking advantage of a tired team. It's pretty simple. In fact, I don't see much more around that other than I like the way Elfrid Payton's playing. Devin Booker's back and good to go. And we're just taking advantage of a tired team.
Yeah, I mean, Phoenix is obviously a losing team. You know, they've lost, I think, 9 in a row, but they've covered 3 of those. So is this a game where, you know, once again, they might just be getting a few too many points, even though they should be an underdog? I'm willing to bet yes, Jim.
Yes, I agree. I'm also willing to bet.
What?
I'm willing to bet that it's going to go under 236 and a half points.
So? All right. You want to take that one as an official play?
Yes, I do. And I'm going to send it in as soon as this show's over.
All right. Well, let's see. Jim's going to take New Orleans under 236 and a half. 236 and a half minus 110. That's the best line right now. 236 and a half minus 110. Heritage and Bookmaker. Everywhere else has 236. Man, that is just an eye-popping line move there, Jim.
It's just nuts.
Yeah.
And King Rail says if Suns cover, game goes under. That's probably an excellent point.
Yes.
Yes, I mean, it's just ridiculously high to me. And then the market keeps pushing the high, so that's not comforting. But I have to take it. I would beat myself up if I didn't take it.
Yeah. All right, and I'm going to do a half play on that one as well. I'm going to take the New Orleans team total under 121 and a half, and that's going to be at Pinnacle minus 107. So I'm taking the Pels team total under 121 and a half minus 107.
Jose Ing says, Jimmy, don't fade the Pelicans. And I don't even see this as necessarily fading them. I'm just getting 7.5 points against a tired team. I expect the Pelicans to win this game.
All right, let's go. Let's get to some comments here. Dylan S. says the game's going to go over 236 in the first quarter. All right, I guess he's seeing, a huge scoring game here. Let's see.
Dark Kent says if you pick the Jazz tonight, slap yourself. Now, I agree with that, Dark Kent, but don't you think this line is a little confusing? I would expect the Rockets to be maybe a 4-point fave, even a 4.5-point favorite. Being down at just minus 2.5, it means that this isn't a slam dunk. The Jazz are going to slow the pace down. Now, I love the Rockets here. I've got them, but I don't see this as a slam dunk.
Tomor says Davis looks healthy now, best he's been the whole season. I just don't think Len can guard him at all. I mean, that makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And here you go. J.D. Williams says Haralabos may have pushed the over, according to my buddy in Vegas. If that's worth anything. You know who that guy is, Barbavos Haralabos. I forgot his full name, but he is maybe the sharpest NBA handicapper in the world, as they say.
Yeah, because people said to me, they're like, Jimmy, you can't beat NBA in the whole season. Remember, and I told you that, and you said, there are people who do it, and you mentioned him.
Haralabos is definitely the guy, one of the guys who has done it, and he is the kind of guy who can make a total have a 5-point move like that. And that is not a guy you want to be on the opposite side of, Jim.
No, it's not.
To put it mildly.
It's not.
You know what I'm saying?
Not. But, I am only putting $200 on it. And
as much as we respect the opinions of Big Dick Donnie, we respect Haralabos, Farbalabos a little bit more, Jim.
Small Dick Donnie's really climbing the ladder for me.
Rich Banks says, I might add that under 236. Very tempting. Interesting shit here.
Yes, it's very interesting. And God, I love working with this chat.
Yeah.
It just, Dylan S says, Bag is 100% right. When the line is this fishy, take the dog. And I believe he's talking about the Jazz game. Yes.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, and Jose Inc. says, Jimmy, no Gordon. Capella and Anderson probably sitting out. That's why the line is low. Capella's not sitting out. As far as I know, he's a key to this game. I've got let me just make sure. I'll panic if Clint is out. We know how well they play with him. He's a very important player on this team. Let me just make sure.
Tomor says, I like Toronto first half, Minnesota, and Houston. I was thinking about Toronto first half as well. It's just a high line there. And I was thinking about, let's see. Yes. Tomarino says, I'm not sure being tired plays to the under. Tired teams don't play defense. The tempo New Orleans has played at last 2 games suggests games should be very high scoring. Yeah, I mean, they might have changed their tempo to be just in the stratosphere, game in and game out until further notice, Jim.
Yes, but the Suns haven't been playing very high scoring. The Suns have actually kind of curtailed a bit. Elfrid Payton is another guy. Now, I'm not an Elfrid Payton fan, but and he shouldn't be ever in a conversation with Chris Paul. But Alfred Payton does slow the pace down and does control the pace, and he's a long guard who can defend the perimeter.
Bill Buttlicker likes the Pels. Pels, he says. Wow.
Small Dick Donnie says, good to know I'm growing on you, Jimmy, but don't expect too much growth.
Very, very nice.
Respect, Small Dick.
JP Fahey says, I like the Pelicans here. A lot of people we respect going against us, Jim.
Yeah, and that there's quite a bit of that on this card, and I don't like it.
Yeah. A lot of people in chat we respect going against our pick of Phoenix, and likely action from Vegas going against our thoughts on the under.
Yes. Now, the Phoenix was one of the plays I was certain of making. Not certain of it succeeding, but certain of me making that bet. I really like this spot on the entire Pelicans team. How can they not be exhausted? I mean, it's just...
Well, again, as Tom Marino says, being tired does not necessarily always... your legs go out. So if you're a big three-point shooting team, that usually is if you're a big three-point shooting team, you can usually expect a tendency towards lower shooting percentage from three in the next game if you're tired.
I agree.
Yeah.
Jrue Holiday is playing out of his mind right now.
Yeah.
If he has to defend the Suns taking 35 threes, he's not going to be successful offensively. That was one of the reasons why they they switched around their starting point guard, took Rondo out of the lineup so they could get a player in there to defend the perimeter so that Jrue Holiday wouldn't have to. Jrue Holiday, okay, this team will not succeed unless Jrue Holiday is a beast. And he's been playing out of his mind last 3 games. He can't do this again tonight. No rest.
Scotty Rock Forever says, can't wait for the conversation tomorrow on this show after this Suns Pelican game tonight. Ha ha ha. Yeah, I can't wait either. And again, when we have these strong disagreements on both sides of a game, it's always interesting to see how it turns out. On Friday, once again, Princeton Harvard, huge disagreement on both sides. Everyone was debating a line move and this and that in Princeton, and it turned out there was no clear answer after the game was done. It turned out the market was roughly right, and even either side getting 2 points was probably, not a big EV bet based on how the game turned out. So this game could land dead on 236. My prediction is this game lands exactly on 236, and Jim gets a cover by a half point.
It's going to be tight. It's going to be tight. But, I mean, Coop Boy here, it says, when you're a tired team, your jump shot just not going in.
Yeah.
Also, you're going to lack on one side of the court. I'm guessing is lag on one side of the court. Either going to be offense or defense. Let's see what G-Money says. Good teams who are getting tired play much more efficiently with good results.
My prediction is this game lands dead on 236. Jim cashes his 236.5 under by a half point, and Harlabos Varlalabos wins most of his bets on the overs, except for anything he took at 236, which I'm sure he didn't because he pushed it up there.
Pushed it all the way up there. That's very interesting. Rui Seguero says, any ideas for the Pacers game? I tell you what, this just felt uncomfortable. I bet you I bet on the Pacers more than any other team probably. When I look back at my action for the year, I bet on the Pacers a ton. And I didn't start after I watched them 5 or 6, 7 games. I didn't expect them to be this good. I didn't expect Oladipo to go back to the state where he played college and just blossom. But this just doesn't feel right. It feels like everybody is against the Mavericks, and they should come together. At least that's what I see teams doing. So I didn't make a move on this, but I had a big asterisk and a question mark on the play. Tomor says Mirotic is an overplayer too. Good scorer who plays no defense. He's got to play defense if this team is going to succeed. I find this Warriors-Knicks game extremely interesting tonight, and I don't have a play on it. Your lean was towards the Knicks in the...
first half +7. The full game is now getting bet up. It's up to 12 or 12.5. It was 11.5 in the morning. And the total is also getting bet up. It was up around 229. It got bet down to about 227 a few hours ago. Now it's back up to 229, Jim.
Oh, I'm so close to taking the under here.
Oh, the under, really?
Oh,
okay.
Yeah. I agree with your instinct on this game. This is a tough flight. The Warriors are going to have extracurricular activities going on maybe before a game, after a game. They're in New York. Oh, and Bill Butler says, I thought the Mavs are tanking. No, Dennis Smith is playing terrible, and Cuban wants a high draft pick. But you think Dirk Nowitzki's going to tank? I mean, not that he's that important, but I just thought there's... Metu 1984 NBA says Warriors all day, Jimmy. Young Abu Dhabi wants to talk about the Bulls game. but I could pull the trigger here on the under. What is your lean there?
I was thinking under, but I don't like to go against the late line movement of a U-shaped move. You know what I'm saying? When it's up here, then it goes down, then it goes back up. I'm not saying it's always a bad thing to do, and that the late line move is that the late money coming in is always sharper. But my sense is that it's usually the sharper money, and it's something I am very hesitant to go against, Jim.
Oh, this is very interesting. My man Seth Porter says already took the under in the Warriors. Hako Schofield says like Golden State under. Ooh. Cream of Wheat Jones says best play is Warriors. Knicks under is best play.
And it is in my leans column.
Wow.
I mean, you got it right here. First half under 117. First half under 227.5. It's in my leans column right here, Jim.
And Coop Boy says I didn't want to say it, but I actually like New York here tonight. Coop Boy knows his game. Okay, you know what? I'm adding on this under, and then I'd like to touch on, because there's lots of Bulls Nets talk. So I'm going to add on this full game under.
All right, right now we will be able to give you 229 minus 103. Jim's going to take Golden State under 229 minus 103. This is another one we'll be talking about tomorrow. Did Jim make the right move here, taking the under, and did I once again puss out, put it in my leans column, first half and full game, and have another 2 wins in my leans column, not getting credit for it in my official picks column?
I would be very successful if I just listened to your leans that you don't make and just hammer them.
I know. Jim, let's talk about Chicago and Brooklyn for a second. Obviously, Brooklyn has been terrible, but they're getting some guys back, right? And Chicago, what to make of them? I mean, I was right with Chicago was a home dog in their first game against, can't remember who the hell that was. Nets are really slumping, losing ATS and straight up, but is this the game where they turn it around, Jim?
But just Dylan says you're all gonna laugh when you realize you thought the Knicks were gonna cover against the Warriors. We'll see. And we're not making an actual pick, but we'll see. Yes, they're not just getting somebody back. They are getting the most important player on their basketball team back, Hollis Jefferson. Chris LeVert was coming back too, but Hollis Jefferson guards the opponent's best player.
Yeah.
They went 1-10 in his absence. 7 of those losses by double digits. They allowed 111.7 points a game without him on the court. Now, he won't start, and he'll be on a minutes restriction. That's the problem. The problem still exists. So I can't back the Nets. I will start backing the Nets again. I need them to win a couple games because I've got their season over win total, and it was looking great until this swoon. Now, yes, the Bulls are officially in tank mode. Second straight game, Holiday and Lopez were healthy scratches. Felicio in place of Lopez at center. Nwaba starting front court alongside Markkanen. They're 3-12 since January 15. During that span, they allowed 111.6 points, 47.4% shooting. On Saturday, the Bulls allowed more than 120 points for the 4th time during this slide. They got outscored 62-42 in the second half. These are just 2 bad teams.
Levine is out.
Oh, wow, that's news.
Is that true?
That's news. Let me get if is he out?
Okay, here's a comment just to lock in the vault, Jim. Okay.
Yeah, Zach LaVine is being rested.
Yes, Scotty Rock Forever says Loshak and Blag, please understand the Dubs have turned all the way up now. All-Star break is over, and we smashing everyone. Lock that in the vault, Jim.
That's an important thing to know.
That is true. All-Star break is over. You see this a lot of times, even in baseball. You remember when the Cubs were the best team in history? Even they had like a down spot right before the All-Star break. There was like 3 weeks where the Cubs were just losing every game. They were just, undervalued. And then they came back second half of the season. All of a sudden, they were cashing again. That happens with elite teams. They have a lot of times, elite teams have a down period right before the All-Star break, an extended one for like 3 weeks. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think that's a really interesting point from a big fan of the team.
Scotty Rock Forever. Great point there, Scotty Rock.
Yeah, let's definitely keep an eye on them because they might be. We can go back to that first quarter, or how they were dominating third quarters there for a little while.
Yes.
AA Sports Trading says the under is 4-1 in the last 5 meetings. The Warriors go back to Warriors next. 9-2 in the Warriors last 11 against East teams. That's a great stat for us. And 5-2 in the champs' last 7 road games. Another great stat for us.
And Rich Banks just says whoever said that about the Warriors turning up is correct. That might mean that they might start to be a great bet on their first half lines as well, Jim.
Yeah.
You remember because there was 1 year, I think it was last year, or was it 2 years ago? I can't remember, where they were like 50-50 on their full game spreads, but their first half spreads were like 75% or something ridiculous. Yeah. That might be happening.
Very interesting. Cream Wheat Jones comes in and says Nets Bulls over is the play.
A lot of great stuff here, Jim.
Yeah.
Maybe we should tail all this shit. Nets Bulls over. Maybe we should tail. Wow. Hako Schofield says Rockets are now -0.5 first half. Wow.
Wow. So late money's coming in on the Jazz.
Why would that be? Let's see. What you got? You got it at 2.5, right, Jim?
Full game, yeah.
It is now, down to 2. No 2.5s available. So some money coming in on the Jazz.
Yeah, and
some money coming in at Sacramento.
Yeah, and we haven't talked enough about that game.
What I was thinking that Sacramento was a play here, Jim. What do you think?
And I'd like to touch on the Lakers game just before we finish.
You know what? I'm throwing that. That's in my leans column. And I'm going to convert that one to an official pick. Sacramento, 5.5 is still available at the Greek. Everyone else has 5. I'm going to take Sacramento plus 5.5 minus 110. I can feel the comments. I can feel them coming in. No, Pete, don't do it. T-Wolves roll. No, Pete, don't do it. Big Dick Donnie's saying, love T-Wolves. All the guys, Rich Banks, everyone's saying, no, Pete, don't do it. T-Wolves is going to smash them.
Not yet.
No?
But seriously, continue to say Utah wins tonight. Matt 2, 1984 NBA Great Capper says Kings Wolves over. Mm-hmm. Yeah, not yet. No one's against it. But I'm telling you, I just think the point. Dylan S says
Sack is a good one too. Elio Rodriguez says had some great tennis picks that I wanted to give you guys cash 3 units today. Tennis is, we never talk about tennis because we just don't have time to do it, but there's great value in tennis. Some of the guys who I know who do really great modeling, their best sport now is tennis, and their models have maintained value. Tennis can have great value. A lot of kind of like MMA. A lot of times they're like big underdogs that shouldn't be quite as big, and the big underdogs tend to have, especially in like women's tennis and the tournaments, stuff like that. So yeah, I wish I had time to look into tennis deeply.
Well, and please, Elio, anytime you want to throw it at us, we'd love to hear it. Okay, so people have come in on the other side. G Money says, no, Pete. No more Olympics. But take Zach.
Take Zach.
Small Dick Donnie's on your side.
And Marcus Colon says, love Sacramento Kings plus 5.5. Okay.
But Jose Ing says T-Wolves kill it today. And Hako Schofield says, no, Pete, don't do it. Now, Hako says, Wolves win easy, Pete. Now, the thing is I think, and you said, will they want to prove it for more than one game? I think they will. I think the Timberwolves will want to prove that they can win without Butler. And I think my boy, Andrew Wiggins, is going to be a monster down the stretch back to the 2. So, seriously says Sacramento home is always scary. I really think that that the points might be too many. So I'm not going to take the Wolves. I'm definitely not going to want to go on the other side of you. But I really think the Wolves are going to prove something.
And Payless Way says lean Sack. All right, listen, I'm taking it. It still is at 5.5 at the Greek. And what else do we have here? Very, very quickly, Jim. I know you follow the Atlanta pretty closely and generally have a very good read on them. What do you think about maybe a shot with the under in the Lakers game? I know the Lakers have been a big overtrending team recently. They've had a bunch of high-scoring games, so I'm thinking this one might be a little bit more modest scoring. What do you think, Jim?
That's interesting. I'm interested to see what they're going to do because they bought out Ilyasova. And if they were going to play Collins and Dedmon over 40 minutes a game, I'd be like, oh, that's fine. But they don't want to do that. So I need to. I was surprised. Ilyasova didn't want to be bought out. As far as I know, what I'd learned, he just went with it because that's what they wanted. And he said, well, if I'm not wanted, I'll leave.
Yeah, exactly.
But I thought him and Bellinelli wanted to stay, and that's how is me following the game. Now Kentavious Caldwell-Pope is hot right now. This Lakers team is not playing defense. Isaiah Thomas is going to come in and light it up. So yes, I think the Hawks want to slow down the pace, but their point guard goes 0 to 100 real quick.
Yeah.
So it's a let's see. Jose Ing says Lakers no defense.
Yes.
Back to your play with Sacramento. Coop Boy says Jimmy, I'm going to take the Timberwolves back to when Thibodeau was with the Bulls. They went on a bad streak when an injured starter was off the floor.
All right, I'm taking the Atlanta game. Just one play under 221.5 minus 107. I might be on the wrong side here, but I'm thinking Atlanta tries to play some nice D, and the Lakers at least try to play D, even if they aren't able to. I'm taking the under on that one, 221.5 minus 107. All right, Jim. Anything else before we wrap this show up?
No, nothing really. Although I think that's a very interesting play that I'll be looking very closely at. Native Queen joined us. Hako Schofield is on the over though in the Lakers game.
That's
so good. And Q Wilson comes in, another great capper, says Minnesota 111 on the road. They might win, but they ain't killing nobody. And that's another thing. They might pull it out late, but will we be able to cover the 5.5? Very interesting point. Man, it's just nice to be. Jeremy M got on Sack +6 this morning.
Nice job. Yeah, all right. So we'll see if it's a good spot for Brooklyn. You don't like Brooklyn minus the points here, Jim? Oh wow, it's now up to 5. Wow.
I'm not going to start backing Brooklyn until they get Hollis Jefferson in for full games.
Right. Okay, and then very quickly, just before we wrap this up, Toronto, first quarter or first half. Last thoughts, Jim. -6.5 over Detroit first half.
I like the Raptors to deliver the goods here, but this whole issue I have is they're just 11-13 in games decided by 6 points or fewer. So they either have to win by 25 or they're not going to win by 8 or 9 or 7, or they're not going to cover when I need them to cover it. And their bench is playing great. I'm a little concerned about DeMar DeRozan with talking about depression, and now I'm happy that he's talking about it if he's feeling it. I'm just a little uncomfortable with them covering these days.
Okay. Well, that just wraps it up. Will we wrap it up, Jim?
Yeah, let's
Once
do it.
again, in addition to the plays from the morning show, Jim has added New Orleans under 236.5, -110. We will be talking about this one tomorrow morning at 12 o'clock.
We will.
No matter how it turns out. My official prediction on that game, not over or under. My official prediction on that game, 236 exactly is my prediction on that game. I predict it lands. Jim also took Golden State under 229, -103. We'll be also talking about that one. 6 o'clock. 6 o'clock, about my brain. 12 o'clock Eastern time tomorrow. We see how it turns out. And in the NBA, what have I added? I've added on the Pelicans team total under 121.5, -107. And that's it. That's the only. Oh, and the Atlanta game under 221.5, -107 as well. And Sacramento +5.5, -110. Great show. Very interesting stuff. Don't forget, I added 3 billboards -125. Best picture currently at Heritage. And we'll be back tomorrow morning at 12 o'clock Eastern time. We'll discuss how all these games turned out and what we should have done, what we did right, what we did wrong. All that, Jim. Right, Jim?
Yeah, looking forward to it. Love you guys so much. Thank you for being a part of it.